Hello. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Today, I want to talk to you about taxes. Finally, IRS opened the tax filing for the year of 2025. So some people say tax season 2025, other people say tax season 2026. So whatever you see, it's still the same tax season. Technically, it is 2025 because we're filing for the year of 2025. But yes, we are filing it in 2026. So a lot of people say 2026. So whatever you say, it doesn't matter. What matter is, do you have to file your taxes? Let's start talking about your personal tax returns, because a lot of people get this wrong. And I want to address some mistakes people or some misconceptions people think, oh, I don't have to file taxes, I didn't make enough money, and so on. So, what I want to address today is who should file taxes and who has the choice to file or not file, but it's in your best interest to file. So, let's get started. If you are new here, my name is Noor Al Masri. I'm an enrolled agent and I help thriving entrepreneurs stop overpaying in taxes. Technically, a lot of you guys are entrepreneur because you have 1099s here, 1099s there, you do some freelance work, you are considered a business by the IRS if you do that. Now, even if you don't register a business. Now, let's start. So most of you are starting to get your W-2s, 1099s. If you did not get them yet, don't worry. You will still be getting those in the next week or so. You should find them. Now, if you did not receive it by mail, maybe you want to check your online portal or ask your employer to send that to you. So you should have it. Maybe like some 1099s with not the 1099 NEC, the 1099 miscellaneous or other things you might receive later. There's others has a different deadline, but the main thing is really your W-2s and your 1099s from a work that you did either with your employee or with your employer or with the company you contracted with. So, who should file taxes? How do we judge this? IRS has a standard deduction. Standard deduction. So, the standard deduction for the year of 2025 is 15,750. 15,750, that is for a single person, either like merit filing separately or for a single person. Again, that is 15,750. For married couple, you just, if they are filing jointly, you just add another one or multiply it by 2, which is coming to 31,500. That's how much you should be, that's how much is the standard deduction. For the head of household is 23,625. So don't worry about the technicality of this. But technically, if you are filing with your spouse, then your standard deduction is single multiplied by 2 because you are 2 people. So what does standard deduction mean? Standard deduction means the IRS will not tax you before you make that much money. Again, so let's say you made 100K for the 2025. So the IRS do not tax you on the 100K. They tax you on the 100,000 minus the standard deduction. So if you are single, 100,000 minus 15,750, whatever that number is. So they don't tax you on the first 15,750. And that number increases every single year for inflation. For inflation. So that number increases. So some people itemize and we're not going to address that. If you want me to talk about itemization, drop in the comment below and I'll be happy to talk about that later, because that's a whole different topic. But for standard deduction, everyone get that standard deduction, no matter how much you make, how much money you make, what's the source of your income, you all get the standard deduction, which is going to be 15,750 for 2025 for singles. Okay. So you get that money without any tax. Now, this is the federal side. A lot of you guys don't pay attention to the state. Of course, if you live in Florida, Texas, or any state that does not require you to file income tax, you don't have to worry about the state. But if you live in a state that also require you to file income tax, then you should check your state's standard deduction. For example, I'm going to take Illinois as an example since I live in Illinois, even though I work with clients nationwide. But since I live in Illinois, I'll tell you because this is a good example. In Illinois, the standard deduction is $2,850. So the standard deductions in Illinois is $2,850. So if you made, so you're not taxed on the first $2,850 on the state level if you are in Illinois. Anything after that, you are going to pay taxes on. It depends on your brackets, your other situation. So again, so if you make anything above 2,850 in Illinois, you must file Illinois taxes. That means you must file federal taxes. Now, filing taxes does not mean paying taxes. These are two different things. So filing is just like information, giving the IRS the information. Paying taxes is something totally different. You might require to get to pay taxes, or maybe you're getting a refund. So two different things. Filing is different than paying. So I don't want you to confuse these two. This is very important to know. Again, if you are living in a state like Illinois, that the standard deduction for the state is lower than the standard deduction for federal taxes, you then must file your taxes. You are required to file your taxes for state. Therefore, you have to file your federal taxes. Now, what if you don't file? What if you don't make any money that's above the standard deduction on either the state or federal level? Do you still have to file? Now, the answer for that is you don't have to, but you might want to, because you don't have to is something, but you will benefit from filing is something else. Because if you might be eligible for a credits that you're not going to be able to get unless you file your taxes. So that's an example. Maybe you are eligible for a credit, but if you don't file, you don't get that credit. Another reason to file, if you are not required to file, is something. So the IRS has your information, so they do not estimate your tax liability if they have for prior year, for example, like you have something different. So you don't want them to estimate. You wanted to tell them like, oh, here, this is my tax filing. Another reason is if you've worked on W-2, still if you did not get the standard deduction, your employer might have withheld taxes on your behalf. You want to get that money back. Now, I hear you saying, okay, it's not worth it because I have to pay a lot of money in order to file. In this case, you might be able to file on your own using using the tax software provided by the IRS or other source, you might want to do that. So you can get just your refund, because your taxes this way is straightforward, especially if it's a W-2. But if you're on 1099, you are considered a business. So even if you made 2,850, for example, if you're in Illinois, you're making more than that, you are a business then if you are in 1099. So then you be able maybe to take some deductions. That's going to lower your income. So you want to pay attention to that. So maybe you don't have to file. In this case, you won't worry about like withholding that from an employer that withhold your money. You just go ahead and file. You just, no one, because on 1099, no one withhold your taxes, so you'll be fine. So you want to make sure you are aware of these stuff. Now, if your situation is different than whatever I described today, drop a comment and let me know what's your situation. And if I can answer you in another video, I will do, or I will answer you directly. Now, that's personal side, right? If you have a business, regardless of the structure of your business, you must file every single year regardless. So if you have a business, you must file every single year regardless. So let me know if you are filing this year or not for your business, and make sure you file the correct tax return. I want to tell you that you need to subscribe to YouTube, to my YouTube channel. If you did not subscribe yet, I am sharing a video every single Monday with a very important topic from my experience. I am preparing topics that you did not hear about from any other provider on YouTube. At least they might have it. They might have similar stories or similar opinions, but I haven't seen, as of today, I haven't seen anyone share some topics, not everything, of course, but some topics I'm sharing. It's very unique and people don't talk about it, and you want to educate yourself. So when you go to your tax professional, you know what to look for, you know what to ask, you know if you are working with the right provider or not, or with the right professional or not. So if you have any question, if you would like to start the process of filing your taxes, if you're for business, for personal, for a nonprofit, feel free to book a time with me or call my office at 312-741-1978. 312-741-1978. Call the office or book a time on the link on the description, so you can book a time and I'll be happy to talk to you. I offer free consultation, so I talk to you to help you navigate through the taxes for this year. Again, my name is Noor Al-Masri and I help thriving entrepreneurs stop overpaying in taxes. I'll be going live every single Thursday to talk about different topic concerning regarding the tax season, and I would love to address the topic that you ask about it. Feel free to DM me, feel free to drop a comment below, and make sure you subscribe to YouTube, because you're going to see videos, new video every single Monday and new live every single Tuesday. And I'll be happy to answer your questions while I am live. Again, I am not sure what time I'll be going live every Tuesday, but if you subscribe, you will get the notification. Send me your questions. I'll be happy to address it and to answer it for you this tax season. Again, if you're ready and would like to work with me this tax season, feel free to book a time with me. I offer free consultation. See you next Tuesday.